All right, what is going on, everybody? This is Tyrell from the Nosebleeds, and just to let everybody know, this is on, as you can see in the lower third. This is StreamYard. So first of all, we're gonna make sure you hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe, the whole 9 yards. We got a returning guest, or as I should say, a regular on this show. We can say that now. Andre, the sports junkie. What's going on, bro?
Nothing much, man. Just happy to be on the show. Can't
Yes,
complain.
sir. So we did Saturday night's main event last week for the retro review, and did pretty good. 62 views. That's actually pretty good for this channel. So we're gonna do another one, and we are doing Impact Wrestling from January 17th, 2013. This is the episode where Taz joins Aces and Eights, or reveals that he is a part of Aces and Eights. Um this is one of to me, this is an episode that is very underrated as far as a wrestling show. You have the gut check in this show, you have a wedding, you have a bit of everything in this show right here. And I had fun going back to watching this show because this was around the time I was like deeply into Impact Wrestling. So this has been nostalgic for me.
Ooh. Yeah, honestly, TNA is a TNA was honestly a surprise for me when I first got into it. I didn't think I was gonna be too much into it, but then of course later on, I didn't realize 4 or 5 years later. At that time, I would still be watching it till today.
Mm.
For those of you out there, my favorite TNA wrestler of all time was Abyss. For me, he was just a TNA needed a character like that. I remember even Goldust was there for a brief time but it wasn't under Goldust. It was under something else.
I can't remember off the top of my head what it was
But
under.
he had a sick theme song, and it was with he used to carry that like rat around with him.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, this is to me, this is not this is very close to peak Aces and Eight. Like this is very, very close. And I know a lot of people make fun of like the fact that like, oh well, they copied off of Sons of Anarchy, which was a huge show at the time, or whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, like this storyline is still memorable. People still talk about this storyline to this day. So I don't see what was wrong with this storyline. I mean, it kind of fell flat towards the end, but overall, this had a lot of, pun intended here, impact on the show. So the show starts off with a recap from the previous weeks. Uh, basically just recapping Bully Ray saving Brooke countless times from Aces and Eight. Hulk Hogan's not trusting Brooke. He's got the Fu Manchu brother, and it's just like, dude, like I swear, like as I was watching this show, like I'm like, and just going back off of memory, I'm just sitting back like Hogan really booked himself to make him like he booked himself as Nostradamus when it came to Bully Ray. Like he could have gave that to somebody else, but the fact like Hogan was like, I'm gonna take it for myself and put myself over even more, brother, is like, what the hell, dude? So we get the recap. In the recap, it shows that Bully ends up proposing to Brooke Hogan right in front of Hulk Hogan. Brooke says yes, and then Bully Ray says that I want the wedding to be in front of all you guys. So then it gets to the pre-tape feed, where we see Bully Ray checking out his suit. He's liking his suit. Spike Dudley comes in with the old Dudleyville glasses. I thought that was very nice. They start reminiscing about their old ECW days, and they're also kind of just like, just back and forth bantering when Tommy Dreamer walks in the room and converse as well. And then we have Brooke Hogan getting her hair done with Mrs. Tessmacher, which is funny because her name was Brooke Tessmacher. And I swear they got rid of I think it's actually reported that they got rid of her first name because of Brooke Hogan. It was like Brooke Hogan didn't want to share her first name. So Tessmacher had to like change her. They just named her Miss Tessmacher. Christy Hemme was in there, as so as Mickey James, talking about the wedding. Afterwards, Jeff Hardy comes out, recap what happened at Genesis. This is also the after show of Genesis. This is the first Impact Wrestling after Genesis pay-per-view. Uh Today, Taz and Todd. What's Todd's last name, Dre? I couldn't see it because of the lower third, and I can't remember his last name off the top of my head. But it was a 3-man commentary team for sure.
Oh, damn it, JB, Jimmy. It was Borash.
It wasn't Borash. It wasn't Borash. It's Todd, and I swear I just looked this up, but it wasn't Borash at all. But anyway, let's we'll figure it out along the way.
Was it Todd Neely?
Yeah, that's who it was. I believe that's who it was. So it's a 3-man commentary team. Crowd chants, "You still got it" at Jeff Hardy. He talks about overcoming the odds of the triple threat match that he had at Genesis with Austin Aries and Bobby Roode. Talks about being a fighting champion. That's when Bad Influence, Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels comes out. Christopher Daniels gets some heat, talking, calls the crowd dumb. He's like also hyping up Christopher Daniels, saying in 7 days, that's 1 week for you idiots out there. Christopher Daniels is going to take the title from Jeff Hardy because Daniels won a number one contendership match against James Storms at the Genesis pay-per-view. So it's a bit of a talk up. Daniels gets on the microphone, talks himself up for a little bit about how he's going to take the world title from Jeff Hardy. They proceed. Jeff Hardy's like, we don't have to wait. We can do this right now. Next thing you know, it's a 2-on-1 jump advantage. They're beating down Jeff Hardy. Then James Storm's music comes out. James Storms come out, saves both guys, saves Jeff Hardy, I should say. Both guys powder out of the ring. James Storm grabs a microphone and issues a impromptu tag team match with Bad Influence. What do you think about that? The first, like, I guess it was like the first 10 minutes of the show.
Well, I mean, not bad. I was gonna say like something about me is that Bad Influence to me. I always thought Frankie Kazarian and Daniel were like a pretty decent tag team for themselves and for what they had to offer. Both X division, both X division competitors, but for these first 10 minutes of the match, honestly, watching this back then and then rewatching it again was between Jeff, Chris, and Kaz. Those guys can fucking fly.
Yeah,
Those guys are for sure some high flyers. But I mean, at the end of the day, though, James Storm, I feel like, is there to be more like the brute brawler kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I rated the match. I gave it like.
Oh, we ain't even on the match. I'm just talking about the promo and the backstage stuff.
Oh, I was getting ready to get to the match and everything. Yeah. Oh no,
Yeah.
the promo and backstage was I liked it. The promo and backstage was for me. I thought it was like very quick deliveries and like kind of like getting the fans who are just tuning in or who may have not been following in recent weeks. They just kind of were able to reel everyone in just to inform everyone like, hey, this is what's going on, but through their promo, of course.
Yeah. So the match starts off tag team impromptu tag match. Pretty much starts off instantly. All four guys are in the ring fighting. James Storms was fighting Daniels, Kazarian, and Jeff Hardy. Storm doles out Daniels, and then Jeff Hardy throws out Kazarian. Storm hits the meeting of the mind. Jeff Hardy hits a drop kick to the floor to both Bad Influence. Goes to break. Come back from break. Faces get a little bit of shine before the heels take over. And that's when we start to get this. I'm going to say this now. We do not get this type of wrestling, this type of tag team wrestling in today's
anymore. Yeah.
We don't get like where the heels cut off half of the ring. They're doing all the heel tactical shit. The fucking faces are like trying to like get the ref's attention. They're distracting the referee or trying to get in to stop all the bullshit from happening. And you just have a strong baby face or a somewhat strong baby face that is fighting underneath, that is trying to get to their tag partner. They can't get to them while the heels are just talking shit, doing shit, and fucking cutting off half of the ring. And not to mention, this is the smallest detail in tag team wrestling that has gone away in today's wrestling. A tag rope, or if you don't have a tag rope, you have your hand on the corner, and we're doing hand-to-hand tags. Not back slap tags, not on the chest, not on the arms, straight hand-to-hand tags. This was a classic case of what tag team wrestling is supposed to be that is not there anymore. It's just not. Like tag team wrestling today, for the most part, is very, very sloppy. It makes zero sense. It makes zero sense. We even talked about it on this channel last week with the U.S. Express and Ricky Steamboat versus Shiki Baby, Volkov and Georgia Animal Steel. Same thing. And the only difference was is that they didn't give the heels, at least on air, a lot of time to show you they can cut half the ring off. But even when the heels had the advantage, they were still cutting half the ring off. They don't do this anymore. Everybody got to keep tagging in and tagging out. Even like in the beginning of the match where the faces are like have their shine, they're still doing their frequent tags and they're still doing their job in a clean way on cutting half of the ring off. We don't have that no more. So yes, I'm going on an early tangent about tag team wrestling, and there is a particular tag team that ruined this shit. And you know who the fuck I'm talking about. And they were Meltzer's favorite little boys, and they were Meltzer's favorite little puppets and kids, or whatever the chuckle fuck you want to call them. But the Young Bucks ruined tag team wrestling. Now it's super kicks and all these pin breakups and you nobody's cutting off half of the ring, and everybody got to get in and do their spots at the exact same time multiple times in a match.
You talk about
This is tag team wrestling.
you talk about Generation Me.
Whatever this generation is today, whatever
Well, no,
it is.
I was gonna say. Oh no, yeah, no, because I was gonna say Max and Jeremy. They were in TNA in 2010 as a Generation Me, and they fought against the Motor City Machine Guns, and they were fantastic.
No, they were fantastic. That's not what I'm talking about. I said there's a particular tag team that ruined tag team wrestling. There's a particular tag team. The Young Bucks ruined tag team wrestling. I'm not the Generation Me, which I kind of crazy. I kind of forgot about them by my reaction to when you said that. Like, yes, that was a great match. Motors, yes, absolutely. That's tag team wrestling. This 10-minute TV match was tag team wrestling. This shit that they fucking do today, I don't know what you call that. Most of the time, it don't look like it's just two guys standing on the court, just waiting for their damn spots. This is not the case here. Everybody was busy doing something. In the ring, it was cutting the ring off. On the apron, it was the heel doing dirty shit while the face is trying to get to the heel or trying to get the crowd riled up.
When they're going to make the tag and the heel gets in and knocks the dude off the apron.
Yes, that's what we're talking about. But they don't even do that no more because when they get knocked out, they got to go lay outside for 15 minutes until their spot comes up. That's a tag team. This is what tag team wrestling is supposed to do. 2-on-1 disadvantage, a 2-on-1 disadvantage. Sorry, a 2-on-1 advantage for the fucking heels. Then when you finally get the hot tag that James Storm got, and then even no, I'm going on this fucking tangent, right? Because even like when James Storm was like starting to get some shine, Daniels or Kazarian cut him the fuck off. So just when you thought like James Storm was gonna make this fight back or make this comeback and get the tag to Jeff, they cut him off. Like prime example, Storm rolls up Daniels for a small package for a 2 count. They get up, Daniels instantly hit him with a clothesline. Now the match is back in the heels event. You don't see shit like this no more. You just don't. And if for anybody that's out there that's gonna comment about, oh, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, or you're just a bitter old school wrestling fan or whatever it may be, fine, call me whatever you want to call me. But this stuff used to make sense. It doesn't make sense anymore. The same things you're going to get mad at me about complaining about, is the same things you guys complain about today's tag team wrestling. How many times have we seen posts about people falling, quote unquote, falling asleep until their spot comes up? You didn't see that in this match. The only time you saw this in this match was at the end of the match. And even then, the timing of that between Hardy and Kazarian was quick enough to where you did not pay attention to the fact that there were 2 other guys laying outside of the ring waiting for the match to end. Does that make sense, Dre?
No, I get where you're going from.
Can we, even though this is not
old school, it's not what it used to be.
I mean, this is only 12 years ago. This is only 12 years ago. Shit, this is only 13 years ago, right? We're closer to 13 and 12. This was 13 years ago. And look how much tag team wrestling has devolved since then. This is a basic simple tag team. This is a tag team match that if I was watching this in 2013, I would have been like, hey, okay, this is a solid match. This is a solid match. This is pretty cool. There's better tag team matches. There's better tag
Even with
teams out
Motor
here.
City Machine Guns, there when you saw them in Beer Money, that was phenomenal. What they can
But
do as a
like,
tag team.
and that's the thing. Like, even today's era, like Motor Machine Guns, Motor City Machine Guns, right? The Usos, the Street Profits, but they're primarily faces, right? They wrestle like this because they learn from it. But these new motherfuckers that try to just come in and do whatever the fuck they want to do, you notice the difference between people who learned this way. And this was always a thing in the territory. They just got away from this because it didn't look cool to them. But now nothing makes sense anymore. And this is supposed to be a TNA review, a Impact review, and I'm going on a tangent because this basic tag team match barely exists anymore. This simple, like how everything laid out, how from bell to bell, there's barely a tag team that formats like this in the most simplest ways. This is a simple, easy to follow easy way to follow the match. You know what I'm saying? Like even when Hardy came in on the hot tag, he makes a good comeback on both of the guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hardy hits a whisper in the wind on Kazarian. 1-2, Daniel comes in and stops the count. Daniels hits a running STO on Jeff Hardy. He gets up. Storm hits a code breaker on I know they didn't call it that, but it was a code breaker onto Christopher Daniels, right? Onto Christopher Daniels. That puts both of those guys out of the ring, right? Because Kazarian gets Storm out of the ring. Bam. So the heel gets advantage over the face. Here comes the other face to come in to save the day. Then the heel dumps out the other face. Now it's a one-on-one situation. Jeff Hardy goes for the twist of fate. Kazarian reverses it with an eye rake and then a backslide, which goes for a 2 count. Kazarian turns around, argues to the referee like that should have been 3. By the time he turns around, twist of fate out of nowhere, 1, 2, 3. Match rating for me, we do this out of 10. 6 out of 10 for me.
Honestly, I'm gonna go 7 out of 10. I really liked it, and also even I think the reason why I give it a 7 too is because I like the little quirky, cheat like cowardly attacks. Like say they're gaining the advantage, referee doesn't look, and it's like an eye poke or like you just said, like an eye rake or
yeah.
I like when like that's a typical heel, right?
Yeah.
A heel tag team right there.
But you know what's weird about that is the fact like he did the eye rake right in front of the referee. Like it wasn't even like that was my only gripe. It was like it was
Well,
in
think
front of
about
like the
it.
referee's like looking right at him.
Well,
Like that. But eye rakes and eye pokes are disqualifications. That's why you hide it from the referee.
yeah, but think about it too. How many times has Ric Flair thumped someone in the eye in the corner and the referee just let it go?
No, the referee always went over there and argued with them, like, "Hey, did you poke his eye?" And Rick's like,
Well,
"No,
not
I
let
didn't
it
poke his
go.
eye."
Yeah, but he would clearly see it, but he would still argue with them.
But it was still like to a point where like Rick tried to hide it or tried to make it look like he didn't poke him in the eye, even though the referee's looking like, "Hey, did you just poke him in the eye?" And Rick's like, "Nah, nah, nah. You thought you saw me poke him in the eye, but I really didn't." Like that's the difference. That's that small details, right? Because you're right. Referee would look at Ric Flair, poke him in the eye, but then kind of question it because of the angle, right? Because of how the body position was angled. And then he'll go over there, "Hey, I thought I saw you, but nah, I didn't do that. No, I didn't
It
do that."
happened to Edge too. I mean, thumped
Exactly.
Batista in the eye, but it was like.
Exactly.
But the thing that made me my bad, I was gonna say the thing that made me mad about the Edge one when he thumped Batista in the eye, he did it out in the open, clear as day.
Yeah.
And when he went over there and he looked at Edge and he just told him like, "Do that again, I'm gonna disqualify you." I was like, "That." All
Yeah,
right.
that's ridiculous. Like you're supposed to hide it from the referee because it is a disqualification. Afterwards, Hardy's celebrating. Christopher Daniels attacks Hardy from the back. Then because Hardy has both of his championships, like it's kind of weird because Hardy walks out with the regular TNA title, but when he wins the match, he has the TNA and his custom title. And Kazarian lays out Hardy, lays out the titles, and hits the Angels of Wings onto Hardy on top of the Hardy Championship. Next we get gut check. So you get a recap of the match between Jay Bradley and Brian Cage. Taz, Al Snow, and Bruce are talking about the match and talking about what they thought about each person. as we get ready for that, Bully Ray talks to is in the back with Tommy Dreamer and Spike Dudley. They're still shooting the shits with each other. That's when Joe. Oh my goodness, I hit the wrong button on my thing. That's when Joseph Parks comes in, also known or your favorite wrestler, Abyss, but they were trying to hide the fact that it wasn't Abyss. Joseph Parks comes in. Parks thanks Bully Ray for helping him get on the roster, and he gives him some Cuban cigars, but tells him like, it's not really legal, but it's illegal. But here you go. Here's some cigars. Now we get to gut check results where they bring Jay Bradley and Brian Cage out. This is a straight shoot right here. This is this is like this is the one part of the show that's not scripted whatsoever. This is crazy. And the crowd is fucking hot for Brian Cage. Like they're fucking hot for him. Brian Cage walks out, they're cheering they're cheering their asses off for him. Bradley comes out, they're like, dude, fuck this guy. Like, boo this man, Um, gets a strong crowd reaction. They bring Brian Cage out in his wrestling gear. I don't know why he was in his I know this stuff was pre-taped and everything like that, and that could be a reason why. But like Cage is in his wrestling attire, and they're like, "Yeah, Brian Cage, you didn't win the match, so goodbye." And I'm like, bro, and the crowd like instantly turned on this segment afterwards. Like as soon as Cage got out, they turned on this segment. Like the crowd loved Brian Cage. So Taz just straight up tells Jay Bradley no, which gives Bradley a time to cut a promo, a 30-second promo. And he looks at Taz and he goes, well, Taz, you always say that, to earn your respect, you got to hump the highways. Well, I've humped so many highways that I probably owe child support. Crowd is just like shitting all over Jay Bradley the whole time he's talking. And then they get to Al Snow. Al Snow says yes. Bradley gets booed out of the building. Then Bruce, he's listening to the crowd reaction. I mean, I have to admit this, right? And Bruce is right about this, but at the same time, we know why he's saying this. Bruce goes, well, the one thing that you do got is that you got this crowd to care. Like, I think they wanted a babyface reaction for Jay Bradley, but the fact that he was getting booed so loudly, I do have to give credit for that. Like, Jay Bradley got booed out of the studio. Like they booed the shit. This is probably like the second loud. It's probably like up to this point. This is the loudest this crowd has been. Like that includes with Jeff Hardy, with James Storm, with Bad Influence. Like this crowd is fucking pissed. They do not like Jay Bradley. They start chanting no to Bruce, but Bruce Arians. I mean not Bruce Arians. I don't know why I just thought football right there temporarily, but Bruce Pritchard. He gives him the yes. So Jay Bradley shoot style owns or earns, I should say, a contract with Impact Wrestling. As I think you saw the Saturday Night Main Event video last week. If a segment is good enough, it adds half a point to the show total. So to me, this gets a half a point. This segment gets half a point just because of this crowd alone. Like this crowd alone made this segment.
Oh yeah, 100%. That crowd was loud.
I mean, it was insane.
They
It was
didn't give
insane.
him ants.
Crazy. It was crazy. So then we get to Christian York versus Kenny King, and I am I tripping here, or did Kenny King at one point had like a very promising future in the wrestling business?
I really liked Kenny King. He was good. I don't know what happened to him.
What's your thoughts on this match, man?
Well, definitely like an X Division style, but of course, one being a heel. So I like those are the types of X Divisions that I kind of like. Like they're high flyers, but they can also at the end of the day they can get their hands dirty and cheat to win. But not very high flying, very fast paced match. But Kenny King, gosh, I've heard that name. He really did have a promising future in TNA.
He did. Like
I was looking like I'm talking like as far as like holding the X Division title and then potentially later winning
being
the
a world champion
world title. Yeah, because he had the arrogance and he had the attitude, but most importantly, he could talk and he could he had the skill set in the ring.
I know
Uh,
Cornette. I know Cornette does not like Kenny King whatsoever, and that's
Cornette
and
doesn't like a lot of people,
well, that is true. But Cornette doesn't like Kenny King because
but he has good points though. I haven't
um
heard Kenny King's, but I'm saying outside of Kenny
no,
King, he
yeah, he
has
does.
valid
But no,
points.
the
So
reason why is
if
because
you're
that's
watching
when
this show, I have nothing but respect for you. I was just saying.
yeah, Cornette has a gripe with Kenny King was is because when Cornette was working at ROH, he knew that Kenny had offers to Impact. But Kenny, like I think it was something like Kenny implied that he wasn't going to Impact, and or he was going to Impact, I should say, but he was going to finish out his ROH dates at first. And I know he was one half of the tag team champions at that time, and he just like skipped out on his dates, didn't let anybody know what was going on until he actually showed up in TNA, and they had to like scramble to like book something else. They had to vacate the ROH title. So I know Cornette is like, man, fuck him just off of that alone. Um, to me, so you actually like this match.
For me, I did just because, but only because of just because of, just because of like the air assaults, the aerial assaults.
I didn't like this match whatsoever. I mean, it was some athleticism, but I'm gonna tell you what
Why
this
do I
match.
feel like you just don't like anything?
Didn't I just say I like the damn tag team match earlier
No,
today? Earlier
I'm just
today?
saying. I know that's what I'm saying. Whenever
No,
you say something positive, it just shocks me sometimes.
because let me tell you something about this man. Why don't you get a pre-assault by Christian York? I think because they had the match at Genesis, which
Christian
I
York, I
believe
knew wasn't gonna last long.
yeah, it is. They had
He
a
botches
pre-match.
moves too. That's what I did low key forget to mention. There was not a whole lot, but there were some. Even like after this, even before this, like he botched a lot of he botched a lot of moves. So I knew he wasn't gonna last long in the company.
Now the thing about this, right? Because Christian York makes a pre-match assault. They fight outside the ring for a little bit. Um, and the commentary team didn't kind of give a fuck about this match neither. Like Taz
They
is up there.
yeah
Taz is
making
talking about
jokes.
not only making jokes, but like Taz is talking about how he couldn't make it to Bully Ray's bachelor party because he had prior engagements. Which knowing how this show went, all right.
Prior engagement, bro. That's hilarious.
These guys
Wait,
like
I
they
didn't catch that. You
to me
said
these
that's
guys like these guys didn't have
prior
like
engagements.
how do I want to put this? Like these guys didn't have the chemistry, and yes, they're both guys were athletic in their own right, correct? But this looked like two guys
Kenny King
like
carried it.
not even gonna say that. This looks like two men who just got out of wrestling school and they just came up with this match backstage and they just executed everything that they basically know. Like these guys look green as shit in this ring. Like this was not a good match. So this it only gets a 3 out of 10 from me because these guys were athletic. And Kenny
Yeah,
King wins a roll up on it and pulls up on the tight. 3 out of 10. This blah blah
yeah. Like I
blah
said, the only
match.
reason for me, the only reason I'm giving it. You know, you are right because they definitely did have its flaws. So for me, I'm gonna give it a 5, and it's only strictly because not the match. It was strictly because of the
Oh
tight
what?
pulling, because of the tights pulling and the athleticism. That's about it. That's the only reason.
The
Maybe a
athleticism was
4.
cool, like the individual, and I'm talking about like when I say the athleticism, I mean the individual athleticism, not
No,
them working
absolutely.
together. Like
No, absolutely. No,
it was like they were off, they didn't have no chemistry, and then like even the stuff they were hitting, I'm like, dude, this just looks this doesn't even look like a wrestling match. This looks choreographed. This looks choreographed.
yeah, no, because we're spending too much time on this. So I was just gonna
Yeah.
throw in like at the end of the day, the only reason I give it at least that was just strictly off of that individual athleticism, and because I told you I like X divisions who can move around the ring but also be dirty when they need to be at the end.
Yeah, too much time on this match. Sting is walking up. I guess he's going to the studio catacombs or something like that. He's like by some random ass stairs. And then Bully Ray sees him. Bully Ray tells Sting, "Hey, like you're the only guy that trusts me here." He asked Sting if he could talk to Hulk Hogan because that's like the B plot of this show is that is Hulk Hogan brother going to walk Brooke down the aisle. So Bully goes and talks to to Sting to see if he can talk to Hulk Hogan. Taz says he's gonna be leaving the table to go join the wedding party. So he leaves. So now it's just Todd and Mike Tenay. Then we get Bobby Roode and Austin Aries backstage segment about how they're gonna crash the wedding. They're both getting dressed. They got this great banter back and forth with each other. Aries like changes his outfit. He puts on a black polo and a black blazer, and then Bobby Roode's like, "You're gonna wear that?" And then he's like, "Yeah." Uh, and uh, and Austin Aries kind of do the same thing. So yeah, fun story. I've actually met Austin Aries before. I know he has a lot of controversy behind him, but I actually enjoyed talking to him. Dre, I'll tell you the story about that off camera. It's not to me. He wasn't a bad person. So afterwards we get Hulk Hogan arriving to the studio, and this shit like made me laugh when I was watching it. But like the cameraman instantly becomes a TMZ reporter. Like that is the best way to explain this. Like he becomes a
TNA had good backstage segments.
the one thing I would say about TNA, right? The one thing I would say about TNA, and the one thing I would say about like
Anything
you
could
know,
happen back there.
not even just that per
Or-
se, but really, Dre. Yeah, I peeped that.
Mhm. Oh,
The thing that I like about TNA, right? Like WWE, their production is top notch. Like there's no doubt about it. But the thing about WWE is like everything is set up perfectly, right? Like the camera, the audio, all that stuff. With TNA, the cameras are like they shot it like The Office, like, but not in the sense of where everybody knew that the cameramen were there. They shot it as if they were like hiding to like hide the fact they were trying to be discreet of like recording these people. Like even going back to the Sting and Bully Ray thing, like it just looked like the cameraman was trying to be discreet and not trying to be seen by Sting and Bully Ray. Like I like little details
things
like
like
that.
that.
But this one, Hogan walks out of the car. He's like, "Yeah, brother. What do you mean, dude? You know, you got the full man chew Hogan, right?" And the cameraman literally runs up to Hogan and asks Hogan, "Is he going to walk Brooke down the aisle?" And he's like, "I'm not gonna answer that, dude." And I'm like, as I'm watching this, I'm like, dude, this is exactly what TMZ does. Like, this is TMZ to its core. And I just found that funny. Afterwards, we get they go to a break. Now we get Stinger. We get the Stinger to come out.
And real
Dude,
fast.
this theme song rocks, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, this theme song
1000%. And
rocks.
real quick, my bad. I'm just gonna go off topic just a little bit, but um, do you remember when they were talking about they are coming?
Yeah,
Do you remember when Sting, for months and months and months and months, tried to warn us?
yeah,
Rewatching that on the TNA Impact Plus network, I restarted that. I don't know how many times Sting. We'll get back to that topic. I just want to bring this up before I forget. I don't know how many times Sting. Heard all his signs, and I'm thinking like, damn, we were that dumb. Like we were that dumb. And then I remember he told Dixie. Remember when he pushed her?
yeah.
And he was like, I tried to help you. I tried. And you know what? I love Jeff Jarrett now. But when Jeff Jarrett before he revealed himself, watching the network now, I, I don't feel bad for Jeff Jarrett's ass beating that he got. Remember when Sting kicked
Yeah,
his
yeah, I
ass
remember
and
that. Yep.
took his arm out of his socket and
Yeah.
beat the crap out of bro? When I was watching that, I told my friend, I was like, I don't even feel bad no more. I felt bad back
Wow.
then, but yeah, I don't feel bad no more. He deserves every bit of that. And then what he did to Kurt Angle after that with the whole Karen Jarrett situation.
All right. Nope. Move on. Move on.
And I'm
We
glad. I
about to
was just
move
gonna say
on.
I'm glad Kurt won that rivalry too and made him tap. I was like, that's what you effing get,
I just think about that steel cage match between them two.
bro. That was really poor booking by Hogan to allow him to win that
Gosh.
one because the
Like
shit Kurt had gone through already leading up to that.
the fact that Kurt had the match won and he just like turned around and was like closed the door and was like, "Yeah, I'm still gonna beat your ass," and then get mad that you lost the match. Motherfucker, walk out the damn cage, then go back in there and lock the door, then beat his ass. Like win the match, then go whoop his ass. Anyway, okay, we off topic. Off topic. So Sting comes out. Great theme song, by the way. I'm gonna say that for another segment. But comes out and essentially like cuts right to the chase. He's happy to be there. Talks about Hogan. Basically says, Hogan, come on out. Hulk Hogan comes out full TNA theme, the meme of 2024, and full Manchu. I mean, this dude is Hulk Hogan, Hulkster out. This is also the only motherfucker in the entire show that has pyro. The only person that had pyro. Nobody else has pyro. And I mean, it's like they spent their entire pyro budget on the year on this one entrance. It's like Hogan the only motherfucker to get some pyro? Really? So Hogan comes out. Hulk starts talking about the history that him and Sting have, traveling up the roads, wrestling all over the place. Sting brings up the fact that Bully has saved the company, has saved Hulk, has saved Brooke a bunch of times, and essentially like makes his case for Bully Ray. Hogan explains that he doesn't trust Bully, and Sting counters that like, okay, if you don't trust him, essentially like, why are you not rocking Brooke down the aisle? And Hogan's like, always do the right thing, brother. Always do it. Yeah, dude, I do the right thing. Because and before Hogan even talked, he was like, what you want me to come out here and do this, dude? Yeah, dude. I'm like, bro, why did Hogan just start posing? Like, why did he just start doing emoting immediately? But he says he's gonna try to do the right thing. Afterwards, we get Gail Kim confronting Terrence Terrell backstage about the match at Genesis where she lost against Velvet Sky in the gauntlet match because Terrence Terrell did not see the foot under the rope. Terrence Terrell basically explains that she's going to call it right down the middle, have nothing to worry about. And then we get Gail Kim versus Velvet Sky, number one contendership match for the Knockouts Championship. Gail Kim looks fucking great here. Looks great. And both of these women have great theme songs.
Beautiful people, hands down, have the greatest entrance.
Oh, dude, this pissed me off right here. To not have Taz scream out, let the pigeons loose. I put it in and I was like, Sky lets the pigeons loose. And this is the part I'm gonna bring up here as well before we go to the match. The production of TNA at this time, it is extremely good. Like the production, the overall production of this show is very, very good. Like the camera angles during the entrance, even like they got that wall LED and they got like a Titantron like right there with the wrestlers doing their promo shots. I mean, it looks freaking. They even zoomed in those Velvet Sky Titantron, which looked fantastic. Even when Sting came out, it looked great. I mean, they're like making faces, making their poses, and they got like the blue flame shooting up. I mean, this is top. I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna piss some people off when I say this, right? I think I've done it already, right? But legitimately, this is better than what AEW fucking does today. This is 13 years ago, and this is better than what AEW produces today. AEW actually need to take fucking lessons from this.
TNA
This is some good production right here. This is very, very good production.
TNA is kind of getting back a little bit today too.
They are. So Gail Kim hits they kind of do a collar elbow tie up. Like I said, Terrence Terrell's there. They both faces and heels, they get their time to shine. I like the I'm still battling my cold, but Gail Kim hits this nice like cross-armed reverse neck breaker on Velvet Sky. And then that leads to like Gail Kim hitting the, like as a rest hold, she has a leg scissors on Velvet Sky and is like twisting and turning, like, and it looked amazing. They still fight each other. Gail Kim hits this amazing running drop kick to Velvet Sky that knocks Velvet Sky into the turnbuckle. Gail Kim hits eat the feet. 1, 2. Terrence Terrell sees the foot of Velvet Sky underneath the ring, and Terrence Terrell calls it out, which pisses off Gail Kim. Gail Kim is distracted, and Velvet Sky was able to take advantage, and Velvet Sky kind of hit this pedigree type move for the 3 count. Velvet Sky becomes number 1 contender. Velvet Sky looks fucking fantastic, and I'm gonna say this too. Because we talk about like Trish Stratus, and we talk about a lot of people talk about Tori Wilson as like the 2 staple fronts of like, or Lita, another one, or like the you know, Stacy Kubler as the women of wrestling that made boys into men, right? Velvet Sky needs to be in that conversation. My God, Velvet Sky needs to be in that conversation. She looked fantastic. And I know it's not her beautiful people's outfit, but I mean she looks very great. And just overall, like as far as an appeal to her, and also just like her wrestling overall, this was a good match. These women hit this like they were hitting their stuff hard. They were hitting the ropes hard. They had good chemistry with each other. It was good pacing, good storytelling. They got time to tell their story. Crowd was into it. I give this match a 6 out of 10 as well. It's a 6 out of 10. And you know, I don't use 7, so you know it's either gonna be a 6 or 8. So I give it a 6 out of 10. What you thought?
Honestly, you kind of covered a lot of that already. Appreciate you for saving some of that.
Yeah,
But for
anytime.
me, 7.
Okay.
I really like the match. Velvet Sky, all not just Velvet Sky. All of them have, like you said, they have the chemistry, and they all have just great in ring ability. Damn, the beautiful people though, man. They used to be dangerous when they were heels.
Yeah, but Velvet was just by herself in this one. I don't know if they
Mm-hmm.
split at this point. That I can't remember. But Velvet keeps the theme song. Yeah, they did split at this point. They were split up at this point. She just kept the theme song. So then we get Dixie Carter talking to Brooke Hogan about Bully Ray. Who cares about that? Then Bobby Roode and Austin Aries comes out. This is actually the start of, which is crazy to think about, but this is the start of their tag team run, which is like these guys are great together. Had great chemistry. They're talking about how they need to be celebrated. They're the guys that have made this place. Rue mentions that he's the most dominant champion in history, and then Austin Aries jumps right in front of they got this great shot in the corner, and like Bobby Roode gets close up to the camera and it's like, I'm the most dominant champion in company history. And Austin Aries cuts him off physically and on the microphone and goes, yeah, and I'm the guy who beat the most dominant champion. They kind of have this great banter back and forth. And they mention how like the company is going back 10 years back since Hogan has arrived. Talking about RVD being X Division champion, talking about Jeff Hardy being world champion, how Chavo has the tag team titles, and they're like kind of sick of all of that, right? Chavo Hernandez comes out. They confront him. They're like, hey, like you have an objection to this, but we have an objection to you. And then like fucking Bobby Roode just starts like listing off like Mexican stereotypes. Like he's like, let me get one of them little quesadillas that y'all be talking about. And it ends up to a brawl. But I thought this is a very good, like, this is very good. This is entertaining. This is very entertaining. You got a quick brawl where the heels powder out, the baby faces stand tall. I believe this does lead to a tag team title match between these teams, and I have to actually look at that match and see how good it is. Then we get to the main event. The wedding is the main event, and I have to say this too. They were promoting the wedding throughout this show, and I'm pretty sure it looked better on 1080p TVs, right? Like the picture that they used for Brooke and Bully Ray. But like watching this on a 4K TV, it just looked like they took a Google image and just photoshopped it in the wedding invitation. It looks very bad, but I'm like, our technology is completely different now. So I can see where it looked good back in 2013, but like very pixelated in today's standard. Spike Dudley walks out with Mickey James. Dreamers with Miss Tessmacher, and Taz is with Chrissy Hemme. Brooke Hogan comes out after the break. They go into a break after the Bully Ray and the bridal party, and the wedding party comes out. Brooke Hogan comes out after the break. She kind of stalls, looks back, like, oh my God, is my dad gonna walk me out? Kind of looks back, does that. So she starts walking, and the crowd freaking pops because Hulk Hogan comes out full Manchu and all, brother, and decides to walk her down the aisle. He gets into the ring with Brooke. Brooke gets into the ring, and then the crowd immediately is going, shake his hand, talking about Hogan should shake Bully's hand, but he doesn't. And then the preacher asks who gives his who presents this lady. Hulk Hogan says, I do, brother.
Wait, real quick.
Yeah.
This is all Hogan's fault. I mean, He should have just went with his gut instinct. But it's all right because he got me too. Bully Ray got me too. Because just for a brief second, I said, "Man, maybe this guy can't be good." And then later on, shit found out. But they told that Aces and 8's story.
They did. This is like
A build
if this
up.
is not peak Aces and 8, this is borderline peak Aces and 8. This is like we're getting there with this story.
And I remember just sitting at home. I was thinking, okay, it's a wedding, and I already knew right away, like, obviously something's gonna go down. There's gonna be a brawl at the end of this. So I'm watching. I did not expect what I witnessed next. And all I remember was just sitting there at the TV on, waiting for the brawl to happen, and all of a sudden, right when he asked about if anyone objects, this, that, and the third, bro.
I'm getting there. Trust me, I'm getting there. So they start to share their vows. Brooke says she can't believe she's standing in the middle of the ring getting married. She says she's marrying her best friend, and she goes, "Bully, you know how to make me laugh." The crowd fucking pops for it, and Hogan the whole time during this wedding is standing there freaking skeptical and pissed off that this is happening. And like when she goes, "Oh, you know how to make me laugh," he kind of do one of these. And he looks pissed, bro. He looks pissed. And I know the running joke is like Hogan wanted his daughter all to himself, brother. And this didn't help that case whatsoever. He looked more like a man that's jealous that he's not the one marrying his daughter. Like, as sick as that sound, that's what it came off as. So, like, overall, like, this was like, I don't know. This is like Hogan's facial expression the whole time was crazy. Bully says he was starting writing his own vows, but feels like Brooke is better than having vows written on a piece of paper, and he's gonna talk straight from the heart. Hulk Hogan's skepticism intensifies. Bully Ray says that he knew Brooke was the one. Then the preacher asks for any objections. Gets no objections, besides the crowd chanting no, but that usually happens in these wedding segments in general. So preacher, so they receive the rings. Brooke says, "I do." Bully says, "I do." Preacher goes, "I now pronounce," and Taz interrupts and goes,
He goes, "Excuse me."
He goes, excuse me. He was like, "I object." He was like, "I got two questions." He was like, "Man, me and you known each other a long time. Me and you are like brothers." He was like, "Are you sure you want to marry Brooke?" He was like, "Are you really, really sure that you want to marry Brooke?" Bully goes, "Yes." He goes, "The second question is it just me or is it a little hot in here?" And he takes off the blazer. And the beautiful part about this is that everybody that's facing the hard camera sees that Taz has a Aces and 8's cut on it, like underneath the blazer. So like while we're watching this on TV, don't fully know the full extent of what Taz is wearing underneath. The crowd knows, and they kind of spoil it, but like to me, I also love it because like the crowd did not play dumb, like they didn't see it until the turn of the hard camera. Like they had the hard camera facing crowd, and then they had a crowd facing the entrance way. They don't see what's happening, but like when he turns and reveals it to the hard camera, the place erupts both in the crowd, and that's when Aces and 8 come out. They start beating up everybody, ball peen hammers. Doc and Knox are holding back Brooke, talking about, "Look at your husband, look at your father." Doc was great in this, by the way. They're like beating down everybody. Bully Ray gets beat down. Hulk gets beat down. Like everybody is laid out clean flat, and they let go of Brooke Hogan, and they all escape through the crowd. Brooke instantly breaks character here because she runs up to Hulk. She runs up to her dad and goes, "Dad, my boobs are out. My boobs are out." And I'm sitting there like, they really left this part in here. And then Hogan breaks character. He's not even grunting like, he's like, "Go check on Bully. Go check on Bully, brother." And it's like, dude, you're supposed to be hating on Bully Ray. Why would you care about that? But then I realized, I'm like, he just told her to like get her shit together and go check on the husband. Like, I just thought that was great. So this segment to me like I usually give segments half a point. This is a full point. Like you get a good wedding segment, you get some drama into this. You get Hulk Hogan standing there looking skeptical and looking like he wants his daughter onto himself. You get the big swerve with Taz revealing that he's a part of Aces and Eights. You get a great crowd reaction that's invested. And another thing about this crowd is throughout this entire segment, there is not a person sitting down. Everybody is standing up and paying attention to what's going on during this. This segment lasted 20 minutes and they are standing up the full 20 minutes. So this gets a whole point added onto the show. And I've seen this segment multiple times knowing what's going to happen. And I still love it as if I'm watching it for the first time. I can never get tired of this whatsoever. I thought this was perfectly done. To me, we average out. So how I get the overall score of the show, Dre, and to everybody out there is I add up the total of the matches. You know, like I gave two matches 6 out of 10, and I gave one match a 3, and then you add up, and then I average it out by how many matches there were. There were only 3 matches on this show. With the 1.5 points added onto it, it would have been a 6.5 out of 10. This would have been a 6.5 out of 10. I knocked it a whole point. I pretty much took the point away. I know I gave this a point, you know, the wedding segment a point, but it's essentially like taking it away. And I say that because in a 2-hour wrestling show, right? As much as I love like Rude and Aries and this wedding segment, you got to have this stuff, right? This show only had 3 wrestling matches. A wrestling show that's 2 hours long has 3 wrestling matches on it. And I know this is not
a lot of it was just the wedding stuff behind the scenes.
Yeah, all of it was the wedding stuff or Sting talking to Hulk Hogan twice. Like he talked to him once in the round. I didn't even mention the backstage segment because there was no point in me mentioning that. Like they ran a pre-package about all the time. Like it was basically the same. That's another thing. Like they had Sting come out, right? And I get it. You want to put your biggest stars out there. Like Sting is the face of TNA at this point, right? He's one of the faces of TNA. Hulk Hogan, he's the biggest star in wrestling history. So I get it. You want to put your biggest stars out there, you know, to have that promo segment. Cool. Not arguing that whatsoever. But why also have a backstage segment about the same thing? Like it could have just been implied that they continued the conversation backstage. You didn't need to show that. You didn't need to show a 2.5, 3-minute video package. You could have thrown in another wrestling match, even if it was a squash match for somebody. I would have even did this. You just signed Jay Bradley. So why not have Jay Bradley go against some jobber and make Jay Bradley look strong for those 2.5 minutes instead of giving it to Sting and Hulk Hogan? Because you just gave him a 10-minute segment at the top of, because it was at the 42-minute mark in the video at the top of the hour. At the top of the hour, which is about 42 minutes when you're watching the replays, they bring out Sting and Hulk Hogan. Will not discredit that whatsoever. That is a great way to bring in people at the 9 o'clock hour, right? Or at the 10 o'clock hour, because I think they were 9 through 11 at the time. But why have a backstage segment? This is where you could have brought Jay Bradley out and squash somebody and make him look stronger. That's what I would have did with this. And it would have kept this 6.5, to be honest with you. So overall, it 5.5 out of 10.
5 for me too.
This had good quality. It had two out of 3 matches had good quality. We had multiple good segments, but like I said, rather it's a Raw, SmackDown. You said what?
It was mainly a segment episode.
Yeah, it was a segment episode, and I wonder how many TNA shows are like this, like at this time.
Honestly, not a lot, but the backstage.
I don't know. Because I'm gonna tell you something. I remember there was
backstage stuff.
Well, I don't know because I remember there was, and I cannot pinpoint the exact date of the episode, and somebody out there watching could probably do. I remember watching an episode of TNA, and the first hour, I'm talking about they went through multiple breaks and everything. The first hour was a fucking continuation with a continuation promo. I'm talking about they had in a 2-hour show the first hour. I'm talking about from 8 to 9. I'm not talking about 8 to 8:45, 8 to 8:55.
No, I know, but TNA,
8 to 9 was Dixie Carter. I know Dixie Carter was involved in it, but it was people just talking on the microphone, and it wasn't like, okay, we got this, and then we're talking about. No, it just continued, and the only thing that they did was just throwing commercial breaks because they were obligated to do that.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say TNA did. The reason I didn't mind TNA doing a lot of backstage segments is because I actually kind of liked them because shit always went down. So whether it was in the
But
parking lot, the locker room, shit, and it was a personal
right,
feud, like shit was
but
always
that's
gonna
not the
go
case
down.
with this one. That's not like that would have went down there. Okay, then you can have me somewhat relax on the 3 matches in the 2-hour show. But like the fact that nothing literally happened in any of these backstage segments,
Get
like
Hogan to
did it tie the show together? Yes, like it tied things together. But they could have really cut out. They could have cut out like 3 of these backstage segments. I'm gonna give you the 3 they should have cut out. They should have cut out Dixie Carter talking to Brooke Hogan because Dixie Carter wasn't even out there for this wedding segment. They could have cut off the fact that Hogan showed up to the fucking arena. They could have cut that shit out, or just show him walking in. They didn't even need to do a TMZ style interview. They could have cut that out, and they could have cut one of these Bully Ray segments out. You cut these 3 things out. Oh, and I give you. I said 3, 4. They could have cut out Hulk Hogan and Sting talking backstage in Hulk Hogan's office.
yeah, the
There's
second
4
time.
segments that could have been cut out. When you throw in another wrestling match and it doesn't throw off the flow of the show whatsoever. It doesn't throw off the storyline whatsoever. It doesn't. Like did we really need to see Joseph Park give Bully Ray cigars?
No.
That's the segment I'm talking about. Did we really need to see, after we saw Hulk Hogan and Sting talk in the ring for 10 minutes, did we turn around and need to see a video package and the fact that they're talking backstage in the office with full audio? Yes or no?
No, we definitely didn't need all that.
Did we need to see Dixie Carter talking to Brooke Hogan?
I think you answered your own question.
And did we need to have a TMZ style interview with Hulk Hogan, or we could have at least showed him walking into the building implying that he's there? So there are literally 3 segments, 4 if you count the Hulk Hogan walking into the arena, that could have been cut out, that could have gave enough time for another match. Like I said, even cutting out one of those segments was enough time to put Jay Bradley out there in front of a crowd that has turned on him, and could have put him out there and made him look somewhat impressive to try to change some of them people's minds. But they didn't do that. That's my gripe on this show. That's the only that in that Christian York Kenny King match are the 2 biggest things I have a gripe about this show. And the fact that they could have cut this shit out, they could have not had Christian York versus Kenny King. They could have did something else with that. But like, they did not need this many backstage segments with no action going on, with and things that that for sure that you can cut out, and nothing about those segments not being in the show would make the show feel less complete.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just my opinion on that. And that's my final thoughts on that. 5.5 out of 10. Not bad for a random Impact show that had a great swerve.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
No. I enjoyed doing this one. Hopefully we got more TNA episodes.
Yeah, we definitely got some more retro reviews for sure. I haven't figured out which one is next. I know I'm doing a solo video about John Cena.
Okay,
So,
since we are on the wraps, we're done with the show, right?
yeah.
So before you log out, I just wanted to say congratulations on Notre Dame making the playoff. Oh,
You
wait.
know what? Did you really need to bring that?
They did it. Notre Dame is out. They didn't make it.
We talk about wrestling, man.
Hey, if it makes you feel any better, Ohio State's number 2. We got you.
No. Who the fuck y'all play?
We got to buy.
No, as in throughout the season, who the fuck did y'all play?
It don't matter. Still won. And still number 2 seed.
For anybody,
even if we do lose,
you're not gonna rage bait me into this shit. You're not gonna rage bait me into this shit.
Even if we do lose, Tyrell, win, lose, or draw in the playoffs,
you're not gonna bait me into this.
Home.
You're not gonna bait me into this. You're not.
HOME. Me.
You promote
What
your
does that
damn
spell?
website.
You're
You
at
promote your damn website.
home.
Promote your damn website. I'm not talking about that shit. Promote your website, bro. Promote the blog. I don't want to hear about none of that college shit right now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, my blog, you can go find that out. I got you covered on baseball, basketball, college football, whatever the case may be. AndreLakes.blogspot.com. You can find it on Google or Safari, depending on your phone, or laptop, depending. Now, with that being said, appreciate you for having me on the show.
No problem.
Join a fucking conference.
No, we're not.
I don't.
We're not.
Take the SEC deal.
No.
I don't
No.
understand why you guys are. This is why you guys don't.
No. We're not talking about this. We're not talking about this.
We are.
We are not talking about this.
No, because you guys,
Nope.
like Jay Will said, you need to join a freaking conference.
Nope.
And
Nope.
Miami already beat you.
Nope. We're not talking about this. But the gripe is never about Miami. That's the number one thing that people.
No, I know that, but the rank, the top
And
basketball.
if that's the case, then we want that 1993 national championship.
Oh God, this is 2025.
Karen, we want that national championship because we beat Florida State head to head. So we're using that now. We are the 1993 national champions.
No.
So anyway, thank you all for watching. This is a TNA review.
Have fun at home.
Review. Nothing else. Impact review. Thank you all for watching. Along with Dre, this is Tyrell from the Nosebleeds. Thank you all for coming into the Nosebleeds section. And we just want to say, y'all stay safe out there.
Ohio State.
Hey, I'm doing my outro. We just want to say thank you. We want to say protect your children at all costs. Protect anybody's children the best way that you can as well. And we just thank you so much for watching. Until next time, this is Tyrell along with Dre. Signing off.
And Buckeye Nation.
Nope.